video, we'll perform a cumulative incidence analysis of cardiomyopathy in survivors of childhood cancer. To begin, we'll click on the Charts tab at the top. To perform a cumulative incidence analysis, we will click on the Cumulative Incidence button, and we will enter cardiomyopathy as the variable. This cumulative incidence plot shows the cumulative incidence of cardiomyopathy at grades 3 to 5 in the St. Jude Life cohort. We can then overlay a second variable onto this plot using the overlay drop-down menu. And the variable we can overlay will be the genetically defined race of the cohort. So this plot shows that the cumulative incidence of cardiomyopathy is significantly higher in survivors of African ancestry compared to survivors of European ancestry. We can also see in this plot the cumulative incidence data at specific time points by hovering the mouse over time points of interest. Next, we can see whether the sex of survivors influences this relationship between ancestry and cardiomyopathy. To do so, we can divide the cohort into groups using the Groups tab, and we will create groups based on the ancestry and sex of survivors. So the first group we will define using the genetically defined race variable. We'll set the first group to be European ancestry. And then the second variable of this group will be sex. Set this to male. And we'll name this group European ancestry males. The second group, also use the genetically defined race variable. Set this to European ancestry and set the sex to female. This will be labeled as European ancestry females. Next group be set to African ancestry, and sex be set to males. Be labeled as African ancestry males. The last group set to African ancestry, and the sex will be female. And we'll label this group as African ancestry females. So then we can create a custom variable based on these 4 custom groups. And now this custom variable is accessible in the portal. And then we can compare the cumulative incidence of cardiomyopathy between these 4 groups. So we can enter cardiomyopathy. This plot nicely shows that the cumulative incidence of cardiomyopathy is significantly higher in male survivors of African ancestry compared to the cumulative incidence of cardiomyopathy in all the other 3 groups. You can also see this specific cumulative incidence data by hovering the mouse over. So this result shows that the higher incidence of cardiomyopathy in African ancestry seems to be primarily driven by the cumulative incidence of cardiomyopathy specifically in males.